What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Salty Gentleman Podcast. I am Colton, and with me always, of course, is Hayden. Dude, how you been?
Dude, I've been pretty good. How about yourself?
Dude, not too bad. It's been a crazy couple weeks. We took a little break from the podcast over, Christmas, New Year's, because I know we were both super busy.
Oh yeah, it's been a very socially draining time for sure.
Oh yeah, I know. Your wife was telling me that you had to drag her around and she was just dead.
Yep, we went New Year's all day, and then the next day was the Rose Bowl.
Oh yeah,
Go Utes.
Go Utes.
Heartbreaking loss.
You joked a little bit, but yeah, dude. New Year's was crazy. I actually had to spend the night at my parents' because we live an hour away from my parents, and I didn't want to drive that late, dude. I'm getting tired of my old age, Jeez, I'm like, my wife's like 9:30. She's like, "You want to go get in bed?" I'm like, "Absolutely. You could not have said something better." Oh my goodness. But New Year's was good for you, huh?
Yep, New Year's was pretty good.
That's good, man.
Pretty good. Yeah, it was a good time. Everybody enjoyed it. Yeah, the Rose Bowl is what I was really looking forward to, though.
Dude, you know what? I don't know if I told you this, but I completely missed the Rose Bowl.
Yeah, I know.
Yep.
Can't believe it.
I know. I was so excited, and I totally forgot what time it started at, because I thought it started like an hour and a half later than it did. And me and my wife were sitting there, and she's like, "Hey, why don't we start the new Disney Plus series, Boba?" And I'm like, "Oh, absolutely. Like, let's just do it, and it'll be good." And then all of a sudden, our work group chat just exploded. And I'm getting like play-by-play from all the guys. And I'm just like, I can't believe I'm freaking missing this.
Yep, it was a very intense game.
Oh, dude.
It is very cool. That's one game I would definitely go back and watch.
Yeah, yep.
That's one for the books. Like, I'm sure people will be going back and watching that film for many years.
The youth should have had it, I will say.
They should have.
But yeah, dude, I was a little disappointed with myself because I don't know. I just want to start getting more and more into football, especially like now being married and everything. I'm like, oh, dude, I gotta be like the husband that just watches sports. Like, I gotta be the stereotypical guy that like wants to watch sports, and I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, that's how I feel too. I've never really been about it. I'll watch the big games and stuff, but
yeah,
definitely want to be a better Utes fan this year.
Like, even the Super Bowl, I'll tell you that, dude. Like, the Super Bowl, I'm the worst at.
Yeah.
Like, I've had years where I went in another room, I've, sat and watched my phone. I usually just say I go for the food. That's it. So.
Yeah, Super Bowl parties are a good old time.
Oh, yeah.
So we got to look forward to, so.
Oh, geez, it'll be good, man. But, dude, I was scrolling through TikTok lately.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, oh boy. And my wife keeps sending me some.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all about conspiracy theories, like Bigfoot, skinwalkers, just all this stuff. And I'm like, she's like, "Do you think it's real?" I'm like, "Oh, absolutely. Like, we need to talk about this, man. Because I know you have some stories and I have some stories."
I've got some theories, got some stories. We can get down and dirty with the conspiracy theory.
You know what? I think we need to hit on skinwalkers, aliens, and Bigfoot.
All right.
Which one you want to knock out first?
Ooh, let's go. All of those hit close to home for me.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go with skinwalkers. That's a pretty Utah-based thing, and
dude, skinwalkers.
People are ready to hear it.
Yeah, skinwalkers are pretty nuts. And I know you just recently told me a story about you having to go open a new gate, I believe, at a cabin.
Yep, so get right into the story. So my family's got a cabin up in Ashland National Forest, which is already has a lot of spooky stuff around it.
Yeah, you look that up and you just see like all the scary stories.
Yeah, I want to say it's about 45 minutes to an hour from the actual Skinwalker Ranch. Well, maybe 2 no. 45 minutes to an hour and a half. I'm not exactly sure.
Oh yeah.
But it's
out there. It's
right
close.
in the territory of Skinwalker Ranch. And so yeah, we're up there. It's late at night. My oldest girl was up in Idaho with our other family, hanging out. So we would drive to get cell service, and it was late at night. I want to say about 10 o'clock. Call her up, talk to her. We start driving back.
Oh yeah, because you had to drive to go get service. Is that right?
Yep. I think you got to drive about 30. Not too far because it's so high up.
Yeah.
You get some spots of service and things like that.
Yeah. That real spotty service.
Yep. So we get that done, start driving back, and we get up to this gated section of where the cabins are.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not anything too fancy, too bougie. We're not up in a millionaire cabin with TV, Wi-Fi, all that stuff.
No,
like, it's definitely a cabin in the woods. Very cool, very rustic. I love it. My great-grandpa actually built it.
Oh, yeah.
So it's pretty cool. Anyways, we get up to the gate, and we pull up, and we're like 10 feet away from the gate, and we see these two creatures that were in front of us. And it's like 11 o'clock at night, maybe.
Yeah.
And I was just instantly, hair on the back of my neck raises up. I'm like, what is that?
What did it look like? Was it big? Was it small? Like raccoon sized? Deer sized?
It was like deer sized. So it was deer sized.
Okay, that makes it so much worse. Because like when you first told me this, I was like picturing like a little raccoon size thing.
No, there was two of them. The first one, I got a closer look because it was maybe sitting 5 feet from the other side of the gate.
Yeah.
And like for the life of me, I could not identify this animal, and I feel like I'm a pretty outdoorsy guy.
Oh,
I know
yeah,
my animals.
yeah.
I can tell what's what, even in low light. But this thing, it just its arms. It was on 4 legs, and its arms just looked.
Like
the elbows,
deformed?
were just cockeyed.
Oh, what
the neck was really like long and weird.
What the heck?
And it looked like it had the head of a dog, like a dog shape, like a wolf head almost.
Yeah.
But like no fur. Like you could not tell that there's any fur on it.
What the heck, dude?
So I'm sitting there. I'm like, oh crap, I don't want to get out and open the gate. And my wife's like, what is that thing? What is that thing? I was like, it's just a deer. It's just a deer.
It's just a deer.
And I'm like, that's not a deer. That's not a deer. So I get out, I'm like, all right, so I open the door, I'm driving, I've got my Glock out, and I've got a flashlight in my, like holding it in my mouth, and I got the key ready to go.
I can just see you
And
like getting out of the car, just all
sitting
shaky.
behind the door, just like how a cop would sit with a perp at freaking gunpoint. So I'm sitting there like that, I'm like, babe, get in the driver's seat. I'm gonna get us out of here. So, during this whole time, it didn't look over at us.
Like not once.
Not once.
Like you never saw the eyes or anything.
No, like you could see its side profile was all, so you could tell that its eye was like, glowing.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like how a deer in the headlights
Yeah,
would be, because they'll always look at you.
They'll just straight look at you and they won't stop either.
Yeah, no. So it didn't do that. It didn't do anything. It didn't behave like a normal animal at all. But then it starts walking off, and I get out. I'm like, okay, get in the car. So she gets in the car, in the driver's seat. I go and open it, and I swing it to the opposite side of where it came from.
Yeah.
Or where it walked to. And my wife drives the car through, and I'm in pitch black. I'm in pitch black.
That's the worst.
I was so scared. I was like, oh man, I gotta lock the gate now. So I swung the gate back, locked it, and I ran as fast as I could, got into the passenger seat. I said, go, 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 go.
Oh.
And we just went balls out back to the cabin.
Dude, I think I would have left the gate open. I'd have been like, I'll lock you in the morning because this is not worth it.
Yeah, it was pretty intense. And then, so we get back to the camp, and we're in a tent, and I've got one pair of aunt and uncles, and then another. So all my aunts and uncles are sleeping in tents, and we're all on the back side of the cabin.
Yeah.
And it was maybe 45 minutes after we got back, we just hear this random, like, it sounded like coyotes,
Yeah.
but then it turned into, like, sirens. It sounded like sirens, and then it turned into, like, a girl screaming is what it sounded like.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And my wife was like, we're getting out of here. We're going to go sleep in the trailer with your dad. I was like, no, I'm not getting out of this tent. I got my gun. If they come for us, I'll go out fighting. And you know what? If we die, we die. We'll die together.
Oh.
That was probably one of the strangest things that has ever happened to me up at that cabin.
Dude, I kind of have something similar. I think I've shared this story with you before.
The foul steer?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. This, like, you just gave me chills, just like full body chills after saying that right there.
Yeah.
Because I thought about it again. And we were up at Strawberry Reservoir. We were off in a little offshoot called Strawberry River. And we kind of drove up the canyon. My brother was in his trailer with his wife and his 2 little girls. I was with my parents and just me because this was before I was married. And my brother has 2 chocolate labs. Okay, they're duck hunting dogs, they're hardy dogs, they're freaking amazing.
Big too.
Yeah, they're big, and it's not like something can intimidate them very easily.
No.
And they were locked up outside because it's middle of summer. They were just in a little cage outside. Both of them, I say little cage, but it was actually a really big cage. And like 1 o'clock in the morning, we have walkie-talkies that connect us to the other, my brother's trailer. And he comes up, he's like, hey, there's something outside. And when you hear that at 1 o'clock in the morning, you're like, your heart and your mind start racing. You're like, okay, what's outside? Is it a man? Is it a bear? Is it a cougar? Is it something going to eat the freaking dogs? So we're like, okay, let's go check it out. So all 3 of us, my dad, my brother, and me, we all walk outside. We all have our guns, our flashlights, and we're just in boxers, dude. Like, we walk outside and we're like hoping this isn't a man because he's gonna see 3 grown men coming out in their boxers with guns pointed at him. That's one scary sight.
That is one scary sight.
And we're like shining around and we're like, what the heck? Because the dogs are just growling.
Okay.
And growling, and it's just like a deep growl. And you're like, what the heck? And we couldn't see anything. Like, we're sitting there flashing around, and we're like, okay, there's nothing out there. Like, we must have scared away. Maybe it was like a raccoon or something. We're like, okay. So we go back in the trailer, and all of a sudden, the dogs start growling again. And this time they started barking. And I'm like, what the heck? So I radio over to my brother. I'm like, hey, man, just stay in your trailer. Just kind of bust out your flashlight, kind of shine back there so I can go back there and feel a little bit better. And my dad's like, all right, just go out there, take your gun. I'm like, all right. Walk out there. And all of a sudden, like, I'm shining my flashlight around and I see the dogs. I'm like, okay, I'm about like 10 feet from the dogs. And I shine right next to the cage and I just see glowing red eyes. And I'm like, oh hell, I'm about to die.
Yep.
I'm thinking this is a cougar or something. And I couldn't see because his face was like in the bush and stuff. I'm like, all right, what is this? And so I like step a little bit closer because I have my gun out. I'm feeling, 21-year-old me is feeling real safe and confident out there.
Yep.
Get a little bit closer, and all of a sudden it stands up. And I've seen hundreds and thousands of deer in my life.
Mm-hmm.
This stood up. It didn't look like a deer. It looked like a deer's been like ravaged in the face. Like fur's all messed up, eyes like sunken, super long neck like you were saying. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? And I'm like, oh, it's just a stupid deer. And I didn't even think about it, of how weird it looked until what happened next. So I put my gun away because I'm like, okay, it's just a doe. Like, I'll be totally fine. I hear my dad in there. He's like, hey, just grab the shovel right next to you and just kind of like toss some dirt at it. Get it out of here. I'm like, all right. So I put my gun away. I have them shining the flashlights on them. I go grab the shovel. And the the doe is just staring at me this entire time. Like, never, like, if I'd move to the side, it would just follow me. And I'm like, oh.
That's creepy.
So I, like, grab some dirt, just some loose dirt and stuff, and I, like, huck it towards it. Didn't move a muscle.
And normally they would bounce out of there even if you got close to them.
Dude, yeah. And, I'm 10 feet away from this thing. I'm like, what the heck? So, finally, I, like, get some more, and I, like, get real close to it, and I, like, try to shoo it away. This thing stands, or it was already up. It jumps towards me and a little bit to the left, like where there was no bushes. And this thing made the most ungodly sound you have ever heard. Ooh. Like, I've heard a buck snort before, but this was like a demon coming out of him. Like, it was so loud. I dropped the shovel and I ran for the trailer so quickly. My mom and dad are laughing their ass off in the trailer, just enjoying themselves because they're safe in the trailer. I'm out there with a freaking Faust deer because it looked so creepy. And I'm like, what the heck? So finally, it went away after that, went to bed. I come the next morning, and like, the only thing I see is because there was like a little hill above where we were at, I just see a deer head pop up.
Oh, jeez.
And then it went back down, never saw it again.
Wow.
Dude, I was so scared that entire day. Like, I was packing the entire time. I was like, I'm not going anywhere without my gun right now. Because we're in the backwoods of freaking Strawberry Reservoir. And if I die because of Skinwalker, no one's finding me. Ever.
Nope.
Ever. Oh.
No, sir, they'll get you.
They will.
They'll get you every time.
It's kind of like those people that have the videos of, like, hiking on Indian reservations. You ever seen these?
Sure, I've seen one or two.
Yeah,
Enlighten us.
I was watching another video, and it was a guided hunt on an Indian reservation, and they had a Native American with them that was guiding them through this land. I'm like, okay, cool. And its video is just panning around like this beautiful country, and it's just nice and quiet. And then all of a sudden you hear a roar like nothing you've ever heard before. And the Native American guide, he turns around, he's like, we're leaving now.
Ooh.
Dude, Bigfoot is out there.
Oh, he's gotta be out there.
He's gotta be out there. You know, if not...
There's too many stories about it that there's always some truth that you can sort through all the bullshit.
Yeah, you know? Yeah. Like, even if there's just a little bit of truth behind it, like, great. It's kind of like the aliens thing, too. It's like, if it's true, awesome. If not, that's what it is, so.
Yep, it is what it is, but
man. Do you have any Bigfoot stories?
Oh. Man. I will say that I lived up in Idaho, right up in the Panhandle. So we were like 30 minutes south of Canada, and them woods get real spooky and eerie.
Oh,
and
I'm sure.
Hear some really crazy sounds out in the woods.
Oof.
So I can't say I've ever had any personal brushes with Bigfoot.
Oh yeah.
But
you know,
there's so many stories out there of people missing, going like completely disappearing in national parks for random reasons too.
Yeah, they always try to blame it on a bear or a cougar. It's like,
even though they can never find any remains.
No. Yeah.
I'm sorry, there's something big out there scooping people up.
Dude, it is.
The old Appalachian ape.
Yeah, the old
Look that up.
Yeah, I actually saw that.
That's the name for Bigfoot.
Yeah, wasn't it an actual prehistoric animal that lived like a couple 100,000 years ago?
Yeah, that was just massive.
Yeah, that presumably like never went extinct.
Yeah.
Or like never known to be extinct.
And I believe it. There's so many like deeply wooded spots.
Oh, yeah.
Look at British Columbia.
Yeah.
The Pacific Northwest has a bunch of freaking crazy things.
It's like going to Yellowstone. Like, you've driven to Yellowstone, right?
Yeah.
You look out there and you just see hundreds and hundreds of miles of such thick trees. Like, if anyone was in there, you would never know.
Nope.
Like, you could hide in there forever and no one would ever find you.
Yeah, and then the very random people that do see you, just kill
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
You know?
They
You'll
would
never
never
know.
know. Yeah.
Never know.
Dude. It's kind of like, alright, I gotta jump into aliens. Sorry.
Alright, let's get into aliens.
I gotta jump into aliens.
I got some stories about aliens.
Because I was listening to a couple other podcasts recently, and they were talking about alien sightings recently.
Oh, boy.
And, like, are you familiar with the Tic Tac UFO?
I want to say I've heard about it, yeah.
So that's one that so many people in the U.S. Navy has actually tracked and have video of. They have a video of something on their radar that's at 80,000 feet, and then within 1 second, it drops to 1 foot above sea level.
Wow.
And they say they see these things all the time. And
That's
they're
insane.
like, well, we're not going to come out and just be like, oh my gosh, we saw so many aliens.
Yeah,
But
you know, the public would never believe it.
no. But they've actually stepped forward recently, and they're like, dude, we see these all the time, and we just don't know what they are. Like, it's insane.
It's a big wide world out there.
It is. And
Wow.
there was another one recently. I think you might have heard of this one too, about the timber company. Have you ever heard about this one?
I don't think so.
So this one I think was based in 1972 or 3, I want to say. Don't correct me if I'm wrong. But there was a whole timbering company, like a whole crew, that had this experience with, a UFO. Because, in 1970 they're not going to have, like, crazy airplanes that are flying 15 feet above the trees.
Yeah, I don't think we really did. We had, I don't know when the A-10 Warthog came out.
But even then, this one...
Even then,
yeah.
We never had anything super advanced like that.
This one, all of them have the exact same experience. It's either all these guys got together, got drunk one night, and decided, like, hey, let's, make up a fake story about aliens, but we all have to say the exact same thing.
Which is literally impossible to get anybody to do.
Because I think there was 25 of them.
Yeah, somebody will
No.
slip up.
Somebody will slip up, say it's false, but the lead of the crew, actually, his account is kind of crazy. He went missing for 3 days.
Oh, wow.
So what happened is they were at the end of their shift. It was getting dark. They're up in the deep woods and stuff, and they just see a ring of lights. And they're like, "What the heck?" So they go investigate, and they just see this huge UFO.
Oh.
And the lead said he would go out there, and all of a sudden a beam of light went over him, and then he just vanished.
Oh, my.
So all the crew, they left. Like, they booked it out of there.
See ya.
And I would too. I'm like, dude, I'm sorry, but you're gone.
I don't know where to get you.
Yeah. And they said that they, 3 days later, he actually showed up. Completely naked. Doesn't remember anything of how he got back, but he knows what happened up there.
Oh, that would be terrifying.
And I'm like, dude, this is crazy. And all of them had the exact same account. Like, each of them was taken into a room and questioned. They all said the exact same thing. Like, perfectly.
Wow.
And it's hard to get that many dudes to say the exact same thing unless it did happen. And the guy's account, to where he was gone for 3 days, he says it didn't feel like 3 days. I can't remember if it felt like less time or more time, but he was just, like, he was fine.
Wow.
Just, yeah. He just said it was just like the craziest experience of his life.
That's insane. Yeah, so I've not had much experience with the Tic Tac UFO, but I've heard stories again up in the panhandle of Idaho. There's a ship or a UFO that looks like a leaf.
A leaf? Okay.
Like a teardrop shape.
Yeah.
Leaf. And there's been like multiple people that have seen it.
Huh.
I personally have never seen it.
Yeah.
But I've heard tons of stories. And then there's always this one section of road. So from Bonners Ferry to Sandpoint, Idaho, that's like where the Walmart is and stuff.
Yeah.
It's about a 30 to 45 minute drive. And there's one stretch of road that multiple people have had this same experience of like you don't remember driving through that section.
What the heck?
So we'll be driving, and it's happened to me and
What?
my wife. So we'll be driving, going back to Bonners,
Yeah.
and then like it.
Like late at night?
No,
or
just during
middle
the
of the
day.
day?
Yeah. So we'll be driving, and then it's like, whoa, how did we already get to this point? Like, I don't remember passing, like, because there's like a nursery, like where they grow plants and
Yeah.
stuff that we pass, and there's like a fire training thing that we pass.
You kind of like
And
snap back to reality.
Yeah, and then you snap back and you're like, whoa, how did this, like, where did we come from? Like, this is wild. I do not remember passing any of that stuff. And on long drives, you know, you're kind of like, you keep track of the time.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay, we passed this. We're about 25 minutes away,
Yeah.
stuff like that. So it's something that I would notice regularly.
Yeah,
But
because you
then
drive
one
a
time,
lot. Yeah.
it was the weirdest thing. I was like, wow, I must have zoned out or something. But no, that happens to multiple people
What?
on that one stretch of road.
It's like a Bermuda Triangle of a road. Like,
Yep.
oh my gosh. That's great. Like, does it take the same amount of time?
Yeah, it
does.
takes the exact same amount of time. And it's just like you don't remember driving that section.
What the heck?
And then I had another crazy experience that my wife wants to link back to we were abducted.
Oh gosh.
But dude, it was the weirdest thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so we drove up and visited our family up in Idaho over Thanksgiving. And it wasn't too bad of a drive.
Yeah.
We got to sleep, so it's 12 hours away from where we're at right now.
Yeah.
And I felt like I slept good. I was up that whole day, and then it was the night. So we got there early in the morning, felt great, and then I, stood up, hung around all day, and then me and my wife go into the apartment that we were staying in, like the guest house or whatever you want to call it. So we go back in there, take a nap, but it was like, so we lay down and we're like out.
Yeah.
And then we both woke up with like the most extreme, like panicky feeling
What the heck?
ever. Like we both rolled out of bed so fast, and like she couldn't recognize me and I couldn't recognize her.
What?
I was like, "What are you doing here? Like, where's Natasha?"
What the heck?
And she's like, that's me. I'm here." And like it was like a 5-minute thing of just being like, "What the heck?"
If you're just like, I can't recognize you.
It was the weirdest thing, dude. Like we both just instant like panicky feeling, like your heart starts racing, you can feel it in your chest.
Oh yeah.
And then you we both rolled out of bed, and I was like backing away from her. I was like, "Who are you?" Like I was like so confused in my head.
What?
Like I don't know if it was the sleep that got up to me or what, but that was the most intense feeling I've ever had. It was insane. And for both of us to have the same feeling at the same time.
Yeah, to where you don't recognize each other, that's just like, ooh. That like leaves me with like a sinking feeling.
Yeah,
in my
it was
chest, like,
weird. It was so freaking weird.
Like that would almost like make me feel bad after. I'm like, I didn't recognize my wife. Like,
yeah, it was weird. I was like, oh my gosh, that was nuts.
Dude, what the heck?
And then that was crazy.
Oh my gosh. I've had like experiences out in the duck swamp, and because you go out there and you get there nice and early. Sky is as clear as can be. You can see every star out there. And I've had this experience with my dad and my brother where we're just kind of sitting there waiting for shooting time, kind of just talking back and forth and getting quiet every once in a while, just kind of like enjoy the beauty of nature. And I'll look up in the sky because I like looking up at the constellations, trying to match what they are. And I was looking at what is it? Orion's belt and Orion the Great Hunter and everything.
Yeah.
I was looking at him and I noticed that there was like, you know, his belt is made up of 3 stars. And on his belt there was like an extra light, like an extra star. And I'm like, oh, that's kind of weird because like I've never seen it do that. But it like got bright. And I'm like,
oh jeez.
So I'm sitting there looking at this, and all of a sudden it just goes zooming across the sky.
Wow.
Like, I'm like, what the heck? I'm like, Dad, did you see that? He's like, yeah, I have no idea what that was. I was like, you can see satellites out there. When the night is really clear, you can see satellites moving. But this one was like...
Yeah, they usually don't stop.
Yeah, this one stops, stays, and then goes. I was like, what is happening? Like, are we just seeing someone come to visit Earth, check on us a little bit? Like, how are they doing over there?
What's up, guys?
Oh, gosh, yeah.
That's insane.
See, and it's crazy, the theories about aliens. Is because there's 3 theories. One is that I think it's the early life, like we are the first intelligent life forms out there that have like, we have the most advanced technology, or we're the only life forms out there.
Yeah.
The other one is, yes, we are just the only life forms out there. There's no other carbon-based life form on any other planet out of the millions and millions of stars. Doesn't sound very plausible.
No, you can always find a needle in the haystack.
Exactly. And the third theory is that we are just too basic of life forms.
That nobody messes with
Yeah.
us.
They kind of like see us as like the weird cousin. They're like, I don't want to go talk to him.
Yeah, for real, the guinea pigs.
Yeah. And like they don't see a need to bother with us.
That's good.
And so that's when I'm like, okay, which one are we at? Are we like, because those are literally the only 3 that it could be.
Yeah.
Either we're the first ones, we're the only ones, or that no one wants to come deal with us.
For the least advanced.
Or they are out there and they just have such advanced technology, or they're not even carbon-based life forms that we can't detect.
Could be. Yeah, that's freaking wild. You know, I have another alien story before we move on.
Oh gosh, yes.
This one's a little spooky.
Oh no, more
So,
spooky.
still dealing with the Skinwalker Ranch, Ashley National Forest section. But, so up in Ashley National Forest, the BLM lets the cattle ranchers run their cows up there.
Yeah.
So there's cows up there, tons of them. And I forget the years that this happened. I want to say it happened in the 80s.
Okay.
But this is when my grandpa and all them were going up with my dad and my aunts to go camping up there and stuff. So he's got some stories, and this actually came down from him, but then I actually dug into it, and it's 100% happened. I've seen pictures.
What the?
It is the cow mutilations. Have you ever heard of this?
Yes, I have. You know, I actually think I heard this from my parents, because they actually used to go up to your grandparents' cabin all the time.
Yep.
Oh, dude. Okay, yeah. Tell me about this. I want to hear about these.
So, so the ranchers are up there. They got their cows, and they would go up and check on them, things like that, move them around. And they started noticing that some of their cows would have like a perfect circle cut into them, like how you would relieve bloat from a cow. You know how people jab a hole into the stomach and it leaks out the gas?
Yeah.
So they would start finding those in their cows, and they're like, what the hell is going on? And the cow would be perfectly fine, okay?
Yeah.
It wouldn't be infected, nothing crazy like that. It was like somebody surgically
Like took a perfect circle.
like took a perfect circle, cauterized the wound, and everything. And then, so they find those, and they're like, what the hell's going on? People are messing with their cows.
Yeah.
Somebody's doing something. Couldn't find anything. Nobody else is really up there messing with cows. And typically people are messing with the cows, you know?
No, because they're so hard to get close to.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you can't
And they're
get close
aggressive.
to them. Yes.
Freaking, you come up to a mama cow, the bull of the herd, like, you don't want to be messing with them.
No.
That's like an 800, 2,000 pound animal coming at you.
Yeah.
You know?
Wild hogs totally lied. You cannot slap the bull.
No.
I've tried.
Nope, do not do it. Do not recommend.
Yeah.
1 out of 10 will not try again.
Will not try again. Maybe.
Maybe. There's always that 1%.
Yeah.
But anyway, so they went from finding the circles to now they're finding dead cows. And they go up to them, and there's, like, nothing is apparent.
Yeah.
The mountain lion didn't get them, bear didn't get them, people didn't hurt them. There's no wounds anywhere except their lips around their entire jaw, bottom and top jaw. Their lips were surgically cut off. What? So you could just see their creepy jawbone and teeth. That was it.
What the heck?
Yep.
Like, that makes zero
sense, right?
Like, to have a perfect hole in there, like, even if you, like, take one of, like, the bloat knives, like, to stab it into, it doesn't make a perfect circle.
No, doesn't make a perfect circle. There's blood.
Yeah.
You gotta worry about infection. You gotta keep that wound clean now.
Mm-hmm. Mountain lions and bears, dude, they tear up their freaking prey.
Yep.
But to have the lips just removed?
Yeah.
What?
No blood anywhere. No footprints, can track anything. Couldn't find anything as to why this was happening.
Gosh, I'm glad I'm home right now because there's no way I'm going outside tonight.
Yeah, I'm gonna go tell spooky campfire stories. But yeah, dude, that one threw me for a loop, and they've just decided it was alien mutilations.
That like
for whatever random reason, they just wanted to come down and chop up some cows.
Dude, that's crazy. And just to take the lips, like there's no animal that like just takes lips and for it to look like surgically removed. Like I know like mice and stuff, they go for the eyes first and stuff. But like was that apparent at all? Was there eyes?
Nope.
What the heck?
And everything was intact. They were healthy cows, like they weren't like malnourished. Nothing like that. Like no wounds, no gore, nothing. Just their lips just perfectly lasered off.
That's just
So explain that.
like I'm trying to wrap my head around it. I'm like, okay, what could do that? Nothing that I can think of.
You can find these pictures online.
Oh, I guarantee it. I'm gonna have to look it up. So.
But I mean, I don't know how much doctoring you could do in the 80s with Photoshop and stuff, but I feel like you'd be able to tell from pictures like that.
Yeah.
And hearing firsthand accounts.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. It's like, yeah, you can read this stuff online, you can hear from us, but when you have firsthand accounts...
Like, this was pre-internet, pre-software stuff.
Oh, gosh. Now I'm going to have to go ask my parents if they have any spooky stories about that stuff.
I'm sure they will.
Oh, yeah, because your grandpa and my parents, they used to go do crazy stuff all the time out there, dude. Oh. Jeez.
Did you ever hear about the devil worshippers that would go up there?
Ooh, no, but I want to hear about this.
That was some spooky stuff, and I did try to do some digging in it.
Yeah.
And I think I ended up finding some devil worshipper activity that was going on up in the woods up there. Again, during the 80s and 90s and stuff.
Why is all the fun stuff happen in the 80s and 90s?
We missed out, man. We missed out. But yeah, we would go through and find all these random big burn spots where people would have massive bonfires. And it was like old stuff.
Yeah.
Like, because I was a little kid, early 2000s, when I was growing up and hearing all these stories.
Yeah.
And finding all this stuff. Spooky stuff.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, dude. The devil worshipping stuff is real spooky. So I told you about that account I had in Brazil, right?
Yep.
Oh, gosh. We're about to get into this really quick before we end. So, I was living in Brazil for about a year. And I was going out, helping people, trying to do everything I can, learning Portuguese, all the fun stuff. And we were out in the middle of nowhere, just me and my buddy, and we're just kind of hanging out.
I can't believe we just segued into this.
Oh, I know. I don't know how we got here, but we're here and we're going to do it.
My bad.
So we're here and we're doing it, and we're sitting there talking, and it was so hot out there. So we decided to, stop and try to get something, like some ice cream or gin or something. And this man stops us on the street. He's like, "Hey, I need you to come to my house. Like, I need help. I want to know about you guys." And I'm like, "Okay, we'll go do it." And he takes us out to the outskirts of the town. Okay, not a very big town, pretty big farm town. There's nothing for miles around it though.
Okay.
We get to the outskirts, and the first red flag it should have been is that there was a fence around his like little brick house that had baby doll heads stabbed through like the fence.
Oh.
And I'm like, okay, that's a little creepy.
Spooky.
Second red flag, his house was pitch black. Like, not just inside, it was painted pitch black. I'm like, alright, this is a little weird. And my buddy that was with me, he was a Brazilian, and he's like 5'0" nothing, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I'm 6'1", and I'm like, okay, this would be cool. This would be cool to go in and see it. And we walk into his house, and there's just like pentagrams and stuff painted everywhere.
Nope.
But it was like poorly drawn and in deep dark red. And I'm like, oh, that's a little freaky. And we go into his house, and his house is tiny. It literally has just like a bathroom clear in the back, but an open area right in the living room, I guess. These houses are tiny. And there looks to be like a bird bath in the middle. I'm like, oh,
okay.
That's weird. Looks a little bit closer. It was an altar.
Oh, jeez.
And he looks at me. He says, "I want to free you, but first I have to baptize you by blood."
Nope.
This dude takes out a kitchen knife, big kitchen knife, and slices his hand wide open and starts chasing us out the door, trying to rub his blood all over our face. I can tell you I've never ran so quick in my life. And I didn't even know if my buddy was with me. I look back and he's like coming up behind me just panting and stuff. He's like, "Oh, that was the scariest thing in my life." I'm like, "I know. Let's go get ice cream because we deserve it now."
Ice cream cures all.
Oh, dude, ice cream did cure it. And yeah, so that was my devil worshipping story. So sorry we jumped into that so quickly.
Yeah, well, that was good.
Oh, jeez, man.
Well, I've got another thought.
Okay, let's hear this.
Okay, so I know we're running on time, but we'll do a little bit extra, and on a good note.
Oh yeah, and on a good note after all these spooky stories, it's just so you can walk to your car in safety and not feel frightened.
Well, I didn't say this wasn't gonna be spooky.
Oh, it's gonna be spooky.
But anyways, so you know how you can go up into the woods and you just get a different feeling up there?
Yeah.
Like you're in the backwoods, you feel a sense of calm.
A little peace, tranquility.
Tranquility.
You're away from everybody.
You're away from everybody.
Yes.
So my thoughts is there's a heaven and a hell, but it is on earth.
Yeah.
And we just can't see it, which is, I feel like if you were to take some psychedelics, DMT, ayahuasca, think there's another one that you can pierce the veil and kind of see through it.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of Alex Jonesing this. But I 100% believe in this. There's stories that back it too. So the Native Americans, there's people that came before them, before the Cherokee, the Apache, the Utes, the Paiutes, the Nez Perce, like all those. There's the old ones that came before them. Like there's always somebody that has come before a certain civilization or peoples.
They had to get there somehow, right?
They had to get there somehow. And these stories come from the Baja California, and Mexico side of things.
Yeah.
Because there's a whole lot of other tribes over there that we don't really learn about or talk about. Like there's the Chumash, there's another one, and then there's a different one that they claim are like the old ones.
Yeah. Like the oldest tribe.
Like almost like Aztec, Inca type, like whatever was right after them when they moved into North America because they got chased out of South America.
Yeah.
But they believed that there was like portals that you could go into and it would like take you to a different time, a different place, a different level of the world, you know?
Okay.
And it was up in the mountains, up in the backwoods where they would find these portals.
Yeah.
Or holes is what they call them.
Yeah, because wasn't it like supposedly like a cave or something that would take them?
Yeah, there's a cave or just even like random sections
of the ground.
Of just a really quiet, peaceful, no animals would ever bother this area. Like, you know how you can usually walk in the woods and usually hear birds or something going on? I feel like that's like the land of the old ones that have come before us and have set, like, I don't know. It's crazy, but if you ever go into the woods or somewhere away from society, you just get this sixth sense feeling that there's something otherworldly, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's where like we had the medicine men and shamans come through, because there was certain people that could pass through these holes and be like unharmed and things like that. And
dude, what the heck? I'm gonna have to like delve deep into this tomorrow.
Yeah, so Louis L'Amour, he was a great Western author and probably one of the only ones that ever did his history.
Yeah.
So like his books that he writes, they're fiction, but they're also mixed with nonfiction.
Ooh.
Because how he got his ideas for his stories was reading journals, letters, actual accounts, newspapers, anything and everything that he could find about the Wild West, the Native Americans before the white people came into the North America and things like that. And he would actually have interviews with people, and he goes into this and talks about how those are, and he's like describing the woods and the backwoods, high up places and distant places, exactly how I'm describing them to you right now.
Yeah.
So when they say it's God's country,
the great words of Blake Shelton.
There's literally, that is, you feel closer to the other side, I guess you could say.
Like, I will say, like, duck hunting, dove hunting, you know, out in the woods fishing, when you're just kind of there and it's like nice and peaceful, your soul just feels calm. Like, it's just that overwhelming just sense of like good, unless it's nighttime and you have to go turn off the generator in the trailer, because that's when my soul definitely leaves my body.
Yep.
But yeah, I get what you're saying with that, but I wanna like delve deep into that, like just the old ones.
Give some backing to that theory for sure. It's definitely an interesting thing.
Dude,
I 100% believe in it. It's
Yeah.
freaking nuts.
That's going to be a cool one to research, and we're going to talk about that a little bit next week, too.
Dedicate that whole new podcast to that.
Jeez.
Some food for thought.
Food for thought for everybody today. Everyone gets to hear about skinwalkers, Bigfoot a little bit, a lot of aliens. So, yeah, dude. Conspiracy theories. Like, I want to hear some other people's accounts as well. Like, I know my wife, her and her dad have some crazy alien talk. Like, there's been some times that they've just, like, you know when you see one.
Oh, yeah.
So, we'll do that. Oh, you know what? I actually did have another alien story.
Here we go.
Shoot, I am sorry. We're gonna have to.
Bonus feature.
Yeah, a little bonus feature right here. It was another Brazil story.
Oh, let's hear this.
So, where I was in Brazil, it's a place called Fortaleza. This place was actually founded on basically bad energy. Because they took all the prisoners in Brazil. They were having such a hard time keeping all the prisoners that they shipped them out to Fortaleza. So it's like the northeast corner of Brazil. Really beautiful. Like, I love it. But extremely dangerous. And you get some bad feelings out there. And, like, when we talk about some supernatural stuff, maybe we'll need to delve into that next week. I'll tell you the story again that gives me the heebie-jeebies. But there was another one. It was actually in that same location where our little demon story took place. We lived on a pretty quiet road. Our apartment was upstairs. And remember, these houses are basically like all open. Like, if you punched the wall that was just made out of brick, the bricks would break. Like, they're so poorly built. The shingles, like, are just laid there, and there's like an 8-inch gap in between the shingles and the brick.
Okay.
So, really weird. Like, we had bats flying into our apartment all the time. Like,
that's nuts.
It was crazy. But onto the alien. There was a night that I couldn't sleep very well, and I like went out to our little balcony area. And on our entire street, there's one lamp post. And it's the creepiest thing.
That's already spooky.
Yeah. And it's late at night. There's no one on the streets. And this light post is right on the corner. And I'm like, okay. And I see something out of the corner of my eye running towards the light. Okay?
Oh, jeez.
There's a lot of stray dogs and stray cats out there. So I'm thinking it's like a dog. Because it was small.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe 3 feet tall. And I'm like, alright. And it runs like through the light. But it like stops and turns. It was on 2 feet though.
Oh, man.
And just go like,
Oh,
kind of like,
got the chills,
yeah.
Man. That is spooky.
It was gray. Like the Graylings aliens. Have you ever seen a picture? Yeah.
Yep.
This thing was so small. Bald head, nothing on. It looked like those Sasquatch pictures where one arm's kind of behind, one arm's in front of him. But that's how he stopped. And he goes like this and just turns towards me.
Oh, balls.
And I'm panicking. Like, I don't know what to do. I'm like just sitting there holding on to it. And I'm like onto the railing and I'm like, oh my gosh. And he like looks at me, sees me, and ducks behind the corner. And I'm like, I'm hallucinating or something because I did not see what I just saw. Then you remember in Signs, like the movie Signs, where the hand grabs around the corner?
Oh no.
Oh my gosh. All of a sudden I see this little tiny gray ham with 4 fingers go like this around the corner and poke its head out and then just disappears.
Oh, no.
Oh, I ran to bed. I freaking pulled the covers. I'm like, nope. If I can't see it, can't hurt me.
Yep.
I'm like, I just saw an alien and it's going to come back and abduct me. And I'm dead. That's it.
That's insane.
Oh, dude, yeah, that was my terrifying alien experience. So
I can't believe I've never heard that story before.
yeah, it's
That's
because I don't think we've like jumped into aliens very much at work.
Yeah, no, we don't usually talk about conspiracies.
We did a little bit.
Tiny bit.
Tiny bit. We talked a lot about the supernatural side of things.
Yep.
Which was really good. Which that is going to be our next week podcast, is our supernatural, because you have some good stories. And I know I have a good story that's going to give me chills again, because I've had full body chills this entire time.
Oh man.
Wow.
Wrap it up.
Yeah, we went a little over time, so we just got a little bonus, and we only said we were going to go about half an hour today.
Yeah, we both beat, but man, I'm catching my second win.
Yeah, I know.
It's a good one.
That's because we had to get up at like 4 o'clock this morning to go duck hunting. So
yep. And we take the old airboat out.
yeah, I took the airboat out. We actually got something. We actually got quite a few ducks. We're doing good.
I think we totaled out at 9-ish.
9, yeah. We basically killed everything that we saw. So
yeah,
you killed a nice pintail too.
Oh, beautiful, Penny. Beautiful.
I killed the pintail as well, but it may have been a hen.
Yeah. If it's brown, whack it down.
Yep, exactly. But yeah, man, you want to wrap this up for us?
Yeah, let's wrap it up. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was the Salty Gentleman Podcast, Conspiracy Theory Edition. Happy New Year, and we'll see you next time.
Later.